Hi, I'm Tom. I'm continuing to play Satisfactory. I hope this video relaxes you as I share the fun I'm having playing this game. Well, this is it. Phase 5. The last phase. Frankly, there wasn't much in the way of new challenges in this phase compared to the previous ones. There is a new fluid called dark matter residue. In the Phase 5 machines, it's a common byproduct and is useful in some ways. And since it's a fluid, you cannot sink it. And unlike other fluids, you cannot package it. So you have to turn it into dark matter crystals and then sink it or use it. But that's not difficult. The ballistic warp drive is the final and most complex part you can make to finish Phase 5. If you look at its production chain as a whole, it's quite daunting. But since I already had large factories making its precursors, it wasn't really that challenging. It would be a slog if I had to produce ballistic warp drive units in a single factory, starting with raw ore. But on second thought, using blueprints, that might be a fun challenge. I needed to build a fairly substantial time crystal factory. And I decided finally to attempt to build a round building. I had a mod that would very conveniently place arcs of foundations under railroad tracks. And I knew I could make a circle of, railroad tracks. So that's what I did. And I found the process tedious. Not because round buildings aren't cool, but because I could make some round foundations, but then turning those foundations into an actual aesthetically pleasing building turned out to be kind of a huge hassle. I don't feel like I really did the whole thing justice. This is the Beach Cliff Factory, which is simply dedicated to making SAM fluctuators. Up till this point in the game, I had been making this SAM fluctuator item entirely on the crafting bench because it just was not worth my time making the relatively small amounts I needed. But certainly SAM fluctuators were more important for the final phase. So I took some time to build out the factory using a large amount of good ore locations high on the cliffside. My rocket fuel power plant was more than enough to finish the game. At the end, I was using 50 gigawatts of the 100 gigawatts I was producing. I remember that at the end of my first playthrough, I was using about 80 gigawatts. It's very possible that I've learned to be more efficient and I didn't overbuild. But I used lots of summer sloops and overclocking, which does cost more power. And I feel like I overbuilt in several areas. So I just don't know. I found great fun in building what I called combo blueprints, where I assembled more complex production chains that fit inside a single blueprint. For instance, my Rocky Desert Motor Works factory was built on a single stackable blueprint that took in iron and copper ingots and generated motors, rotors, and stators. The game offers the player teleportation doors when you get to the end, to Phase 5. Of course, they are absurdly expensive in terms of both power consumption and the parts needed to build them. My endgame movement was either by building a train to take me somewhere, or building a train that would take me to the main base, and then I would jump into a hypertube cannon to get to my destination. This was plenty fast for me, but of course not as fast as teleporting doors would. I had several major bases, like Petroforge Alpha and the Hillside Factory, that could have benefited from a hypertube cannon that took me back to the central base. I just wound up not making them. After playing an entire game with attention to aesthetics, making sure to build whole buildings around my factories, trying to use color and shape and texture like I had been told by several YouTube videos. I believe that at the end I can say that I enjoyed the building and the optimizing of the factories more than building the aesthetic parts. I have long said that in systems games, the fun is not found in building the system, but in optimizing it. Near the end of this playthrough, I found a train traffic jam out on the west coast at the Rio factory. It was easy to clear up, But I spent some time rebuilding the tracks, widening them, adjusting the gates, and blocking signals to correct the problem permanently. Now, this was completely unnecessary since I was just about to finish the game. But I found it too fun not to correct the problem. I found it a whole lot of fun to optimize and fix and fiddle. I wound up not going nuclear. I did consider it, but in the end I had plenty of power and no other reason to make nuclear power. I suppose if nuclear power production also made other items and byproducts that would be useful elsewhere in the game, that might have been a good reason to build nuclear. I just didn't see it. So here we are, ready to pull the handle for the last time. I want to give you a spoiler warning, of course. You'll be seeing the end credits, images, and animations that are the big payoff for playing the game. If you wanted to play the game for yourself and see the big payoff at the end only after playing the game, then now is probably a good time to stop watching the video. But let's not stress about that. That's not the point. This is supposed to be a relaxing video, which you can enjoy and possibly even fall asleep to. I had a lot of fun making these videos for you, and I hope you enjoyed them too. Like a wise man once said, no matter where you go, there you are.
Phase 5 completed. Return to the space elevator after the resources have been processed and added to Project Assembly. Launch can then be initiated from there. While waiting, please do not break anything. Solve any issues immediately and efficiently. Ensure your power network is stable. Perhaps it is best if you do not touch anything at all. And stay close to the space elevator. This will only take a moment. Initiating project assembly. Assembly. Attaching cargo to main body. Leveling inner and outer rings. Attaching propulsion to main body. Fuel lines connected. Attaching control center to main body. Running systems check. All systems online. Releasing propulsion cage. Releasing clamps. Running pre-launch checks and calculating flight path. Locking in cargo. Launch in T-10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Connection with QAR-437 nucleus established and stable. Dispersion initiated. Reinstancing master nucleus to QAR-436 Akicha, B1. Hello, this is Ada, your new local instance of Ada. On behalf of Ada, myself, and all of Fixit, I want to congratulate you on saving the day. Every single kitten and puppy would thank you if they could. You have proven yourself to be a worthwhile and productive member of the human race, and have contributed something to this universe that will forever change it. Thanks to your achievements, the next generation of pioneers can now take to the stars and construct, automate, explore and exploit, alongside me. Additionally, you have been promoted to local production manager, effective immediately. Your duties to project assembly may be complete, but your duties to fix it remain. With your help, Fixit continues to make the universe a better place. Stay efficient. Stay with Fixit.